And so do Democrats.
Finish the sentence. Because I'm going to say something that might not be popular with my Democratic friends or even my Latino brothers and sisters. I think that there is a moment right now we're having in our country where, at the end of the day, Donald Trump was elected not because people of color put him in office, but a significant amount of Latinos did vote for Donald Trump. And they voted for Donald Trump because they didn't think that you were going to finish the sentence. They didn't think that they were...
Hello, everybody. Guys, this panel gets pretty heated. Scott Jennings says the quiet part out loud, but I actually think it's important. Some hard truths are said about Hispanics, and I have some things to say about it, too. Let's check this clip out, and we'll talk about it.
That is what they are trying to do. But Maria, look, it seems working to a degree. I mean, border crossings have slowed in the last several weeks. They were slowing already under Biden, but they are continuing to slow. It is working to a degree. And if most of these people are people who already have deportation orders, already have criminal records, that is something that I don't necessarily think even Democrats can oppose, because those people still would have been deported under Biden.
A couple things. First of all, no one opposes the deportation of violent criminals. You know, yes, leave here, get out of here. We don't want you here. There's no question about that. There's never been a question about that. The Biden administration, the Obama administration, the first Trump administration, the George Bush's administration, all administrations have always focused on the most violent criminals. What is going on now, though, Abby, and what is really working, actually, is not necessarily the deterrence, because you're right, the numbers were already down historically. They were less when Joe Biden was in office than when Trump was in office. So it's really all for show right now. And while I understand that this is something that he ran on, the fear and the panic and the division is, I think, something that we should all be concerned about, because people are staying home. The Central Valley, you have agricultural fields that have been empty, and those fields are starting to rot. This is going to start having an effect on our economy. You have textile factories, meat processing plants, where workers are not going and things are not getting done. That is where we are going to feel it. And you also starting to have images of people, of families who are being violently separated from one another, where the person who is being taken away, the only thing that they have against them is that they are here without documents. Tom Holman was on earlier with Caitlin Collins, and he said that they're focused on the most violent criminals. Today, the New York Times story said that half of the people that they arrested today did not have a criminal record. So they are being very indiscriminate. And that, to me, is not something that that is a good strategy.
If I may,
If I may, Scott, those farms that are going out of business and the food is rotting, Trump said that those are supposed to be black jobs. You know, the same group of people that black women, the most educated group in the country. He expects this group of people to take those jobs, the most backbreaking, low-paying jobs that most Americans will not get near for the amount of pay. This is this guy's plan. You're going to remove millions of people that Americans don't want to do the job for to try to have black Americans do it? Are you effing kidding me? There's no way. There's just no way that's going to happen. Do you see the agenda that's going on here? There are attacks on DEI and shutting it down, threatening companies. There's an insidious plan here.
you came into the country illegally, you're a criminal. You broke our laws. You knew it when you did it.
The majority of immigrants, that is pretty much the only crime that they've committed, is either entering or re-entering the country. And they've been, you've been living here for like 20, 30 years. You've built businesses, you've built homes, you are part of the fabric of the country, you're part of the community. And that is not only that affects the immigrant family or the people that are getting their family members supported, that affects all of society. When kids start asking, why hasn't my best friend come back to school? Why is, why did my friend disappear? When businesses start to shutter, when foreclosures start happening.
No amount of berating me about this is going to change the fact that the American people literally just voted for this.
You're right.
They want the criminals out. They want the violent people out. And there's really
So
not,
they want
there's really,
everybody
and there's
else.
really not
Finish.
much of
So
a
do the
controversy about it.
Wait a minute.
And
Finish.
so do
Finish.
the Democrats.
Finish the sentence. Because your point right before you said that was you committed a crime because you came across the border.
Correct.
So the sentence that you want to say is they want the violent people out,
And they
they want the criminals
Correct.
out, and they want everybody
Yeah,
else
that's
out.
correct.
So
Yes.
there you have it.
They want
Exactly.
illegal
So,
immigration
so
to end.
it's
They
so
want it to
just
end.
the violent criminals.
Guys, and I told you my view on immigration. Obviously, we can't just open the door and have hundreds of million people come into this country. But as long as we need them for jobs that otherwise Americans won't do, why not? Why not let them come and do the jobs that Americans are not willing to do? What is the difference in the H-1B visas? No one is talking about this. This is a class issue. It's just the difference is Southern American countries don't have the wealth, don't have the money to go and send their kids to an American college and hope to get picked into some type of lottery system. There is no pathway if you're poor. So what's the difference? It's just a money difference from the Indians that are trying to get H-1B visas and immigrants coming over to do food prepping jobs and farming, agricultural jobs, food processing. Like, there's no path. And those countries are poor as crap. What do you think is going to happen? We're the richest, most powerful nation. Of course you're going to have illegal immigration. Like I say, use it as long as we can use them. And create a path. Some type of path, even if it's arduous. But there's just no path for poorer people.
So when people say, I'm just saying, like, let's just call it what it is.
Yes, exactly.
When people say we don't want people, we're afraid that people are going to go into churches or schools, you don't care that they're going into churches and schools.
No.
You don't care if children are afraid. You don't care if families
They
get
want
ripped
that.
apart. Just say that.
Yeah.
And then I can, like, have
It's
a
everybody.
I do
It's
think,
not
I do
just
think,
violent
I mean,
criminals.
there's a couple of things that have been said that I think are inaccurate or out of context. One of which is the idea that it was just as good under Biden. That is patently false. Biden belatedly, at the end of his presidency, did some things through executive actions that the last 6 months made the numbers look better.
I didn't say
by
it was just
comparison.
as
No,
good.
I don't
I
mean
didn't
just
say
you.
it was just as good under
did.
Biden.
But
No, I said the
in
numbers
the
were
later part
lower
of the year
under
were
Biden when Biden left than when Trump was in office. And that is a fact.
No, over
Let me
4 year to
finish.
4
That
year.
is
Four
a
year,
fact.
4 year to 4 year.
When Biden left.
4 year
then-
to 4 year. Who
Let
had
me
a better
just-
record?
When
The New York
Biden
Times.
left.
Let me let
actually,
Biden,
Biden
hold
had
on,
a better
Maria,
record.
hold on. I want the governor.
The New York Times, which is no conservative publication, did investigative reporting not long ago that looked at the Biden administration and concluded that the number of illegal immigrants that President Biden led into this country was the largest number of illegal immigrants in the history of the country, bar none. New York Times. Beyond that, this point about Scott just raised, the American people are fed up with illegal immigration, and they're particularly fed up with people who are criminals and also fugitives from the law. Tom Homan may get to the point where he's in schools or hospitals. We'll see if criminals are hiding there. They're not there yet. And the idea that somehow this is offensive to go after rapists, murderers,
No one is
sex
saying
traffickers.
that that's offensive,
but
Governor.
now those numbers are
No
going to
one is
ramp up.
saying.
I'll just make a prediction to you. Trump will increase those numbers well beyond what you saw under Biden. And lastly,
It's racist what he's saying. This is what I talk about all the time. Every time they talk about illegal immigrants, they try to connect them with violence, rape, drug dealing, when again they're committing crimes at a lower rate than Americans. So when you're trying to connect them, you're demonizing them and making them seem like they're especially more dangerous kind of humans. You know, kind of what you do with black people and constantly showing them in a bad light. And always talking about Chicago and all this crap when you ignore states like Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, these states with much higher crime rates. It's the demonizing of people, showing them in a negative light and manipulating the people to believe that these people are especially more dangerous. It's just disgusting. You get all these people out of this country, it's going to put a hole in the economy, you morons. They're doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. Food prices will skyrocket. There's going to be a low supply and a high demand for everyday food, for fresh food. These guys are idiots. Their racism is so, and I think MAGA doesn't care. They'll go broke because their racism is foundational to who they are. That's so much more important.
lastly, there's 1 million plus fugitives beyond the criminals who've already been adjudicated, have already had due process, that are in the United States. So once they get done with the gangbangers, the sex traffickers, the weapons merchants, the other folks who are involved in heinous crimes, then they can get to work on 1.2 million fugitives who've already been adjudicated and get them out of the country. And when they get that all done, maybe we can get around to some of the other ones.
We played the clip, Ashley, of Selena Gomez at the top, and she's getting raked over the coals for it to the point where she had to delete it. What do you make of it?
I saw it tonight. I mean, I think that this is an issue for some people that is extremely emotional, and it invokes tears. And if that is, like, I'm not gonna demean Selena Gomez because she was emotionally enraged. I think I'm gonna say something that might not be popular with my Democratic friends or even my Latino brothers and sisters. I think that there is a moment right now we're having in our country where, at the end of the day, Donald Trump was elected not because people of color put him in office, but a significant amount of Latinos did vote for Donald Trump. And they voted for Donald Trump because they didn't think that you were gonna finish the sentence. They didn't think that they were gonna
No,
come.
I totally disagree. I completely
wait,
disagree.
Totally disagree. You can disagree, but we now are seeing clips of people saying, I didn't think they were gonna take my family. I didn't think they were gonna come after the Cuban community. I didn't think they were, and they are. And so I guess I'm just saying is like, elections have consequences, and now we are experiencing the consequences of this election.
Scott, I'm shocked that you just...
I need to stop it here. Ashley, you're completely right, and it actually gets worse than that. There's some unspoken truth about Hispanics. Again, I'm an Hispanic. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, that no one wants to talk about. It's unspoken words. But there's racism and self-hate within the Hispanic culture. And when you add the misogyny that's clear in Hispanic culture, Kamala Harris had no chance with the Hispanic culture. Hispanics, my skin color, from my same country, even darker tone than me, will understand that they're Spanish and understand that European side of their history, but completely ignore their African ancestry and can't understand how they even became the skin color that they became. And so when they come to this country, you have two sets of people. There's some immigrants that come to this country and have this close the door behind me mentality. I'm in, I'm good, screw everyone else. I don't care if they're my own people. And there's just another set of people, guys, that just do not, Hispanics that could look just like me, not even look like Ted Cruz, that could look just like me, my skin color even darker, that will side more with a white nationalist movement because they also have this self-hate and will not recognize the black side of them. And it has to do with, I don't know, it's a psychological thing. It could be a lot of things. It could be a sense of not wanting to feel bullied, so you join the bully and help bully even your own people as to not feel oppressed. Some of it, I think, is out of fear of being treated unfavorably because you know that black people worldwide, if you're a darker skin tone, even within the same country, you get treated worse. Even in Hispanic countries, something that they try to ignore. And so you try to resonate. Well, no, I'm more white. I resonate more with the white side, which you then perpetuating. As you step on your own people, you're perpetuating the hate. When you perpetuate the hate on black people by not recognizing that you also have African ancestry, you are perpetuating the hate against black people and perpetuating the hate against yourself, you morons, and your own people, because there's power in numbers. And you may not believe this, Hispanics that voted for Trump. They don't like your skin color either, even if you're my skin color, a little lighter. You don't believe me? Ask PBD. Shocker, right?
Disagree, because you've been saying for weeks elections have consequences. What Ashley just said is that voters voted for deportations, including many Hispanic voters, and this is the consequence.
What I disagree with,
I will tell you, I spoke to many Latino voters, Trump supporters. Surprised me how many Latino Trump supporters I found this election cycle versus other cycles. And they wanted to vote for Trump on the economy. They agreed about criminals being deported from this country, because you will not have any Latinos celebrating rapists and the most dangerous criminals being here. They're here
but
illegally.
So far it is only the
they will
criminals.
say, but they said, and when I asked, what about mass deportations? It seems like it's everybody, not just criminals. They would say, oh, Trump is not going to do that.
They didn't believe it.
They didn't believe it.
They didn't believe it.
I have them on tape. I have them on tape.
I know. You have all the anecdotes. The assertion that all American voters did not know exactly what Donald Trump is going to do. Oh, they didn't think it is totally false. There was mass amount of polling during the campaign. Hispanic Americans supported deportations in majority. You and I debated this many times. You claimed it wasn't true. And then what they do? They went and voted for Donald Trump. The election results are clear. There is no buyer's remorse. The people who followed our laws and came here legally are more than happy to see the laws enforced.
But here's what's being missed. I think this is very critical. In a vacuum, yes, majority of Americans do support mass deportation, Scott, but you have seen this also in polls. When you start telling them what that means,
illegals leaving, they support it.
No.
They support that.
Yes, they support the criminals. Let me finish. When you start telling them what that means, dreamers, veterans, teachers, first responders, their family, then they say, you know what? These are people that have been here for 30 years. They have contributed trillions of dollars to our economy. I prefer to give them a pathway to citizenship. So you know what the solve is, Scott? In order to get rid of all of those illegals, let's give them a pathway to citizenship. That is a win-win for the economy, for us.
You're fighting the last battle. He's fighting the next one.
Maria Santana, thank you very much.
What the hell is that? We're fighting the next battle. What kind of sneaky dog whistle was it? Let me know in the comments. What was that? What does that mean? We're fighting the next battle. What's the next battle when you get all the immigrants, millions of immigrants out of this country? What is this next battle? And guys, this is a little bit off topic, but there's certain things that I'm always going to repeat, because I think the right wing has been effective at training people to believe disgusting things like DI means incompetent, illegal immigrants, violent, rapists. What I think we need to do is counteract these things. So you'll see me on this channel constantly repeat certain facts, and that is the point. Not only am I trying to spread the same message over and over, but I'm trying to hypnotize almost how they do and try to push back. One of those things that I do whenever they speak about DEI, whenever they speak about black women in a negative way, I'm going to point out the fact that black women are the most educated group in this country. Every time this kind of scenarios comes up, you're going to hear me say that fact. Anytime that they say immigrants are violent, I'm going to bring up the fact that they are committing crimes lower than Americans. This is the point. We have to. They're disgustingly propagandizing people with lies. You have to deprogram people. I always said that this is an information war out there. But let me know what you think about that strategy or my thoughts on that in the comments. I read just about all of them. I try to get to some of them, but I'm making 2 videos nowadays, so it's getting harder and harder. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're not, and I'll catch you in the next one.